Boydie, it is time to talk Celtic because it has been a quite extraordinary few days at Celtic. Brendan Rodgers resigns. Back in comes Martin O'Neill at the tender age of 73. We'll look at some of the favourites to take over the job. But first of all, what's your take on why what has happened has happened?
I think Celtic, in terms of the performances, haven't been at the level that they would have expected. There was obviously, Brendan Rodgers had called out the hierarchy a few times regarding the transfer or the lack of transfers in the summer. He felt as if he could have taken the club on to another level. I'm not quite sure where that would have been because, you know, when you look at Celtic last year, getting to the knockout stages, going very close to beating, getting very close to beating Bayern Munich. That was probably where Celtic should be. Brendan Rodgers will point to the fact that there was a lot of forward players left. They failed to, Celtic failed to get the same quality in. But you look at, if you're signing players for £2, £3, £4 million, whatever it is, and you sell them on for 15, 16, 17, it's very difficult to then, go and spend £10 million. He did that last season with Adam Ida. It didn't really work out. He's left. The trusty one, Engels, both of them have struggled as well. So last summer, Celtic backed Brendan Rodgers. There was rumours that he wanted to leave. There was an offer for Saudi on the table. That didn't quite materialise. I don't know if that's maybe one of the reasons why further down the line that it's came to this. But there was a feeling around Celtic that it was stale. And I thought after the Dundee game, I think it was, Dundee game where the comparisons of the Honda Civic and the Ferrari was the final straw for me.
Wasn't helping himself, was he?
No, it definitely
whatever
was.
His frustrations were, when you start saying that about your own team,
yeah,
it's not going to end well.
Yeah, and I think, if you're a player in that, got on the bus after it, and I know people will think, in the heat of the moment, maybe after a game, you could say anything, but I mean, Brendan Rodgers done the Sky interview after it, didn't say that, and then went to the written media and the radio, and then said it. So he obviously thought about it. He knew exactly what he's doing. But you just feel as if those calling the board out for the lack of signings was happening far too often for the hierarchy's liking. They then said that that led to unrest elsewhere. But that Dermot Desmond's statement was. If you thought that was something, Brendan Rodgers leaving.
It was a character assassination, wasn't it, essentially?
Well,
someone who, however it's ended, has brought a lot of success to the club.
Yeah, but, I think you could say it's a character assassination, Simon, if Brendan Rodgers can prove what Dermot Desmond was saying
we're still waiting
wasn't
to hear
right.
from him, aren't we?
Boydie, I've seen managers get football clubs get football clubs relegated, and when they've left, it hasn't been talked about like that.
Listen, I get it, but if you were the hierarchy of Celtic, you can totally understand where a lot of it came from, because there was things where, and I think even the Celtic fans, listen, forget what was going on the pitch, because there is no doubt that Celtic have regressed on that. But in terms of off the pitch, there was some things that you felt as if even Celtic fans were saying, "Why is Brendan saying that?" and as I said, Simon, and I'll say it again, yeah, it's a character assassination if Dermot Desmond. If you want to look at that, but if Brendan Rodgers will have to prove that Dermot Desmond is wrong, and there is no doubt someone with the wealth that Dermot Desmond has got, he's not just released that statement. He'll have that checked by lawyers. He will make sure that he's got that backed up for him to be able to release that. So for me, listen, we sit here and we wait for Brendan Rodgers' response, but I don't think he'll come out fighting, because
for you, he definitely resigned. What wasn't pushed?
Don't know. Because, I think when you go back at Brendan, probably in the summer, and you could understand after the summer transfer window, if he had walked in, if he was that unhappy, why did he not? You look at, I don't know if maybe the Celtic hierarchy have just had enough, and that's been what it's like. There's always rumours of, they've been sacked, it's been agreement. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever get the truth.
No? Okay.
You all right, Merce?
Yeah.
You look like you're hanging on Boydie's every word. Right.
No, I was listening to him. I was just listening to
Who's
Boydie.
in next for you?
I didn't know whether it was a Boydie or not. I didn't know.
Let's have a look at the odds, Boydie, then, as to who takes over next. And, of course, they've got that massive Old Firm League Cup semi-final tomorrow at Hampden Park.
Know.
And it is. I mean, the odds have changed in terms of it being Martin O'Neill on a long-term permanent basis. In interim charge at the moment, he's the favourite alongside Kieran McKenna of Ipswich Town. Can't surely see 73-year-old Martin O'Neill doing this long-term, or can you?
Listen, I think Martin is a figurehead. I mean, obviously, Sean Maloney's went in there. Matt Fothering's come in. Stephen McManus has been promoted. Gavin Strachan's still there. You know, so there is coaches there that have been there and they've added to that. There is no doubt that if Celtic had just went ahead and appointed Sean Maloney, the fans would have been asking serious questions. So to bring Martin back, that figurehead will allow, you know, the inexperienced ones as such to go and coach on the pitch, which, you know, Sean Maloney has done for a number of years now. Matt Fothering's definitely done it for a number of years as well. So you can look at that and say if they had somebody like a Martin O'Neill to allow them to go and develop, but I think it will be somebody else. I thought Celtic would probably have had someone not named.
Do you think McKenna would be a good fit?
Well, I think it's an interesting one from Dermot Desmond to go about it the way that he did. The last time Celtic were probably in this scenario as such would have been 2016 when Brendan Rodgers arrived at first, and I don't think anybody would have thought that Celtic could have attracted Brendan Rodgers at the time. But Dermot Desmond made a statement and went and got, and I'll say it, I've said it before, I think Brendan Rodgers is an elite coach. He's shown that for a period of time that he's at football clubs. He went and got Brendan Rodgers. There is, for me, if Dermot has to go and get Kieran McKenna, then it is a statement. There is other names out there. Robbie Keane's name's been mentioned too, has been doing excellent things with the clubs that he's been at. You know, Lee Carsley's been mentioned. Craig Bellamy, I don't think will walk out and.
What about Robbie Keane? He's been mentioned a lot as well.
Yeah, so saying I think Robbie Keane's been doing really well. Obviously won a couple of championships, doing well, finished Varos as well. So I mean, he's ex-Celtic player. It would tick a lot of boxes for Celtic. So Ange Postecoglou, I don't think it will be Ange. I mean, I think it's.
Well, he appeared Thursday to kind of rule himself out.
Yeah, I think that will be the case. I mean, unless I don't know. You know, sometimes when you sit down with owners and they're able to convince you that you might change, but I don't think it will be Ange Postecoglou. I think he said that since he's been at Celtic, and then that first year at Tottenham was good. Obviously finished up getting to Champions League, but I think he said a rough spell in management over the last little period of time. He might just want a period of time out to rejuvenate himself and come back. So, I mean, there's names there, but I mean, I expected Celtic to have someone in this weekend. As I said, not to take the game against Rangers tomorrow, but in the stands and then start on Monday. But that remains to be seen.